This is the Pat Nat Cast, the podcast hosted by Pat Nat Games. Today I'm joined by Ivanavi. He is known for his graceful retrospectives on games of old, as well as his newer video game commentaries, and of course his many ranking videos on Banjo-Kazooie related elements. Ivan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. That was a very kind introduction. Very generous on your part.
Thank you. I was worried it was going to enter the non-generous realm when I started harping on the fact that you've done a lot of Banjo-Kazooie rankings, but I did not mean that in a negative in the slightest. I admire the fact that you care about Banjo-Kazooie as much as you do. I'm one of those people who wishes I cared more about Banjo-Kazooie, and I care a decent amount already, but I wish I cared even more because I think it's something I could benefit from by having that in my heart.
Absolutely. I agree. A lot of old games are kind of hard to get back to if you didn't grow up with it. Right. But the Banjo games, I think if you give yourself a chance, you'll always fall in love with them no matter who you are.
Yeah, I think, because I didn't have it in my first N64 run, but playing it again today, I can definitely see where everyone gets their passion from. I was more of a Donkey Kong 64 guy. That's what I had on my come up. And, the things that I love about Donkey Kong 64, which is not everything, but the things that I do love about it, I can still find in Banjo-Kazooie as well. So I can very much appreciate it, especially when you look at the fact that no one's really doing what Banjo did these days. You can find elements that string from Banjo for sure, but it's kind of crazy that we don't have a ton of true 3D platformer collectathons out there. You know, they've all kind of branched pretty far from the fold compared to Banjo.
Yeah, that in the 90s and early 2000s, 3D platformers were kind of synonymous with video games.
Right.
Yeah. And you'd be hard pressed to find better than Banjo. And even Donkey Kong 64, I watched your video on that, and you were a little bit more forgiving of it than I am. But
that's fair. That's fair.
But it's so everyone who likes that game always has to give the caveat of yes, it has all these issues.
Right. Well, and I'm glad you recognize that, because I think a little bit more forgiving is what I was going for. But funny enough, I happened to share the video on the N64 subreddit, and a lot of people did not watch the video, but they were immediately commenting just from the title and thumbnail saying all these new kids think this game is awful when it sold crazy back in the day, stuff that doesn't actually relate to game critique whatsoever. And in my head, I'm I thought I was actually pretty generous to the game, but of course they didn't actually, click and watch the video.
I would be surprised to learn that the people who say those things have actually played the game since they were kids.
Well, and I don't know what I was expecting when I post to r/N64. Naturally they're just gonna like anything N64 related. So
no, your video was very balanced, I thought.
Thank you. To be completely honest, I think it's one of my proudest pieces. I think with my experience growing up with the game, I had so much to say, and I think I actually got through just about everything I possibly can with that game, and that felt good.
Well, say what you will about it, there is just so much to that game. It's a deep experience. It's not always a pleasant experience, but
yeah.
I respect that game a lot.
I do always recommend to people now that if they do want to give it a shot in 2025, it does not hurt to just get the Tag Anywhere mod so that you can change characters. A huge Band-Aid on that game. Doesn't fix everything, but a huge Band-Aid.
Good way to put it.
Yeah. So I've got some icebreaker questions for you, right? Because we want the audience to get to know you. We want me to get to know you. This is our first time actually interacting. If you want to know one thing that made me want to bring you on the show was actually hearing your podcast on the special hour, because I just found that I happened to agree with 99% of your takes. And I was wow, that's kind of cool. When you're talking about Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild specifically, I was I think I echo that almost 100%. That's neither here nor there. That's not even related to the icebreaker questions. I just wanted to bring that up. As for the icebreaker questions, the first one I wanted to ask, because you and I seem to both care a lot about the Star Fox series. And obviously Star Fox has not been in a very active place as of recent. And even when it was active, it hasn't been in a very well-received place in that period of time. I guess what I want to ask is, where would you want to see the Star Fox series, the next Star Fox entry? How would you want to see that end up, essentially? Is it that you want to see another Star Fox 64-esque game, or do you feel like getting close to that might almost be unnecessary because it's already such a good game? Or is there other territories? I know Star Fox has dipped into other genres. Is there another genre you'd like to see Star Fox enter in? What would you really like to see from Star Fox in 2026?
Yeah, so I've said in so many different ways, so many times, that how much I love Star Fox 64.
Right.
And I think a lot of people that really love Star Fox 64, I do think that is far and away the best game in the series.
Right.
But people who feel that way oftentimes will dismiss the sequels. I just
agree.
did a video on Adventures, and I love that game. I think it has a lot of problems, kind of similar to Donkey Kong 64, actually.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that game a lot. I haven't played Assault. That's going to be my next big project. And I didn't hate Zero as much as people did. And the reason for all this is because what I love so much about Star Fox is, you can talk about the amazing gameplay in Star Fox 64, and I have, but the thing that really makes it special to me is the characters and like the universe. Right. So I would be happy to see Star Fox do anything if they get that aspect right. I don't need it to be like a total return to form. It can be something totally new, like a RPG. It could be a turn-based RPG. And if those Star Fox characters were on point, I would be all over it. One of the best Star Fox games I've played in years is actually Starlink, the Star Fox expansion that they did.
I also played that one, yeah.
And it was just so much fun to play as Peppy, Slippy, and Falco, and the characters felt so genuine. As long as it stays Star Fox and it isn't, throwing the baby out with the bathwater, I'm with that series wherever it goes.
Yeah, Starlink is interesting because even though it's not a Star Fox game, it has so much Star Fox personality added into those moments where they're actually on screen, to the point where you're like, man, I really want to see Star Fox in a modern view with these personalities shine again, because it's been so long since we've really had a fresh take on that. Yeah. Have you experienced Command at all?
I haven't. That's the game I'm most interested in, actually.
I'll be curious to see how you feel about it whenever you play it, because I do think it has the largest Star Fox roster. It has so many of the characters returning and new ones. I find that a lot of their personalities are carry over that Star Fox charm, even though they don't have iconic voice acting. But I've also been told I'm wrong in that front. So I'm curious to see where you land. You might not connect with the world at all, because some people really don't. I personally love Command. I think it's
I know great. It's a bit of a contentious title, like it's kind of controversial, which makes me real interested in it. But I'm so down for anything that like expands the world, and does things with the characters. Like there's a big fan project called Event Horizon.
I've heard about that. Yeah,
does some pretty fun stuff, and it's totally non-canon, but I still like it just because. Yeah, I'll take anything Star Fox.
Yeah, and I there is a small handful of indie games that have also really taken a liking to the Star Fox 64 style gameplay, and some of them also try to really hone in on that Star Fox charm too, because it is something that's very much sought after. Something about mixing piloting with extremely goofy puppet-like animalistic creatures. Somehow that duality works so well. Just that contrast of extreme serious and not serious.
Yeah, Star Fox is so goofy, but it also kind of takes itself seriously.
Right, it works.
That's one of the things I love so much about it. Yeah, it's earnest. That's always the word I use to describe it. It's earnest. It's
and neither of those elements distract each other. Like they just work in cohesion, and it's perfect. It's great. Would you snub your nose if they decided to remake Star Fox 64 again?
At this point, it's hard. It's hard to snub your nose at anything with a Star Fox name on it.
Right.
That's like the one thing I want them to do the least. I would really like to see them do something else. But if it means that, like Metroid was kind of in a similar situation for a while there.
Right.
And then they came out with Samus Returns, which is pretty much a rehash of Super Metroid, if I remember correctly. And that started bringing Metroid back into the limelight. And now we've got Metroid Dread, which is excellent, and we've got Metroid Prime 4 coming out next month. So it's really encouraging to me to see Metroid kind of making a comeback. It gives me hope for some of Nintendo's other more obscure franchises.
Yeah, and I'm very curious to see where Prime 4 goes. You know, that's the most anticipated of them all, and that's one us Metroid fans could really use a solid title for. So we're crossing our fingers. But yeah, I agree. You know, if the only way for Star Fox to come back was to remake 64 of the Switch 2 again, I'd probably pound my fist on the desk and still click buy, because I still want more Star Fox, and I love Star Fox 64. I agree. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's I think you were talking about in one of your videos about how little it's aged, and I feel the same way. One thing I always say is every day that passes, Star Fox 64 becomes more impressive because it's another day it hasn't aged, and I still feel that. Love the game. Love it to bits. Yeah, hopefully we'll get some return of Star Fox. We've been so stuck in the world and narrative of Star Fox 64 as well, and when we got taste of that, I know you were praising Adventures for the way they expanded the world and the nuances within that. The fact that we've dabbled in that and never really got to go all out in it is unfortunate, because there's much more to Star Fox than just the world of 64. So I'd love to see them branch out and try something new. I'd also love it to just feel as good as Star Fox 64 does, though. Yeah. That's the main thing, is you got to recapture that feel, because obviously I don't think Zero recaptured that feel per se. I don't even think, I mean, I know you haven't gotten to Assault yet. I don't think Assault quite recaptures that feel either, unfortunately. So I'm just waiting for that like return to that super slick feel. But
I think they have a real easy path. All they have to do is make it a roguelike. I think the endless replayability of Star Fox 64 would fit really well into a roguelike.
And those are indie right now too.
I just love roguelikes.
Right.
What do I know?
Yeah. Well, the success of with the Hades games in particular, I think people are really liking the style of run and gun, but slowly building up your arsenal in the background. And Star Fox definitely could benefit from that. Command dabbled a little bit in multiple pilots. I guess Star Fox 2 also did that, but I think mixing that with roguelike elements would also be really cool. Here's hoping. I would love to see it return. I've got a rare question for you. You know, we dabbled a little bit on your fascination with the bear and the bird. I guess my question is, of all the rare games, right? If you only could have experienced 3 of them, which 3 would you pick? Now, to add some caveats, not caveats, but explanation, this wouldn't erase them from existence. All future games that were inspired by rare games, which there were many, those would still exist as they do today. It's just from your personal experience, you're only allowed to keep 3 of those rare titles. Which 3 rare games would you pick?
That's a fascinating question.
Thank you.
Definitely Banjo-Tooie.
Okay.
Donkey Kong Country 1. And maybe this is recency bias or just my Star Fox bias, but I think I'm taking Adventure.
Okay. Starting with Tooie, what's your thought process on that?
Well, I've always been a Tooie defender. That one kind of gets a lot of shade. Some of it deserved. Certainly it's not a perfect game, but I think it does just about everything Kazooie does better. And so if you're going to play Banjo-Kazooie, the best way to play it is to play Banjo-Tooie. Donkey Kong Country is one of like my favorite games. It's way up there. It's like one of the most beautiful, most impressive games ever made. If it was just one frame on the screen with David Wise's music, it would be one of the greatest games ever made.
Yeah. Even if that one frame is just but that's all you need. That's all you need. A half a beat.
Yeah. And Adventures, I just really I have like a soft spot in my heart for that game.
Sure.
And I feel like it's a hidden gem that I'm really glad I got to like explore again as an adult. Because as a kid, I played through probably 70% of it, and it just wasn't vibing with me. It wasn't gelling.
Right.
And so going back to it, I was expecting it to be miserable, but like it just kind of wormed its way into my heart.
Right. Well, and people sleep on the music for that game too, but it's got a pretty solid soundtrack as well.
It does. It does. It's also David Wise.
Right. Right. Yeah. And that was all three. Okay, interesting. So you'd let the original Bird and Bear sleep in the ground essentially.
Yeah, I love that game. I'm actually more nostalgic for Kazooie than I am for Tooie. But every time I go back to it, I'm just like, man, I wish I was playing Tooie.
Yeah, I think there's something interesting because Tooie is often cited as like the bigger game, right? The game with a lot more to it, and some people that doesn't gel with them. But I think there is something to where usually if you grow up with a game that is as big as Tooie, I think you tend to be more fond of the slower stuff you grew up with than playing the slower stuff in Modern Light.
Yeah, that's true.
Because just if I had a really slow game in front of me right now, I'd have to parcel it out over weeks and weeks and weeks, because I don't have that kind of time. But if it hits you at the right moment in time, you can really sink your teeth into this long adventure and appreciate it for everything it has to offer. And I don't think there's any like convincing otherwise after you've already sunk your teeth in, because I don't think games that are at that I don't mean this in a negative word, but that bloated and massive, I don't think that's inherently a problem. It's just a matter of whether or not it can connect with the most people, and a lot of people in today's day and age, with things we got to do, possibly attention spans going down, we're gonna look more negatively on that kind of stuff. But yeah, I can definitely appreciate a much grandiroso adventure. Maybe hence why I was relatively sympathetic in my Donkey Kong 64 video. Who knows?
Yeah.
Even I still think it's a bad game, but yeah. Well, okay. The interesting thought experiment. I plan to ask that to any other rare enthusiasts I might have in the future. So I will compare and contrast people's notes.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Somehow making it 3 made it a harder question than just making it 1.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was like 1 seems a little bit seems too easy.
Then you
2
just pick
is
your
still
favorite.
a little too little. 3 sounds right. Yeah. I think for me, I would like you picking Banjo-Tooie. I might have to pick Donkey Kong 64 in my 3, just because the game meant a lot to me back then, and then even looking at it in hindsight helped me look at other games in hindsight. So Donkey Kong 64 is probably a big one. Didn't really grow up with Banjo, and I really like it, and I think I'm still going to throw it on the list. I think I'm still going to keep Banjo in there. Oh, but then there's also GoldenEye. Ooh, I had a lot of good times with GoldenEye.
I missed GoldenEye. I didn't have that one.
Oh man, that was I didn't have it either, but my friends did, and countless fun hours. I might have to keep GoldenEye in there. Oh, but then what about the Donkey Kong Country games? Well, it's okay. I asked you the question. I don't have to put myself through it. Yeah, I'll say those 3 N64 games though is my tentative answer. Ivan, what games have you been playing recently? What's been in your library? What's been in your hands? What have you been looking at? What kind of games have your thoughts been around these days?
So mainly, I've been playing back through Mass Effect, the Mass Effect trilogy.
Okay.
One of my favorite games. I think it's the best RPG of all time. If you take all 3 of them together. And I've actually gotten my wife to play through it, so that's very exciting. And it's really fun to watch her experience it. And I've also been playing RoboCop Rogue City, which was a surprising, like a game that I found myself really, really enjoying, surprisingly.
That's a newer one, right? That came out recently?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yep. Okay.
And one of these days, whenever I can get some time, I'm going to start on Star Fox Assault.
Right.
I got to balance.
What's sticking out to you about RoboCop? Because I've seen some footage and it looks fun, but I'm curious what it's connecting with you with.
It's one of those games that knows exactly what it is and doesn't try to be more than that. It's very straightforward without being restrictive. It's got extremely good gunplay. I'm really picky about gunplay. If I'm playing a shooter, if it doesn't feel good to shoot the guns, I'm just not having a good time. I downloaded Far Cry 6 like a year ago to check it out. It got like 5 minutes into the game, shot the first enemy in the head. He didn't die, and there was no animation. All that happened was a little tick on his health bar went away, and I deleted the game. I was not having
and
it.
You took it personally, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like, you're like, of all the games I could spend time playing, why waste another second on this no animation tick headshot?
Yep. And there's just a lot of great like feedback in RoboCop. It's like over the top in a fun way.
Are you playing with a controller or?
Yeah, a controller on my PlayStation.
Because that adds another level too. Is you could find some shooters that feel a lot better on keyboard and mouse, but if they can't make it feel on a controller, might not make the jump. You know, it's like there's something so comfortable about a controller-based first-person shooter. That's how I felt about Time Splitters. Even though Time Splitters, it's comfortable in the opposite reasons that you brought up. In terms of like, cause you'll shoot people in Time Splitters and there'll be no flinching all the time. Right.
Yeah.
But it really embraces that opposite where it is extremely chaotic. And, yeah, I love a good feeling console first person shooter. Obviously Call of Duty usually does it pretty well, but you know, anything else you wanted to mention?
As far as games I'm playing, that's been it recently. I mean, I play games with my friends and siblings online. I've been playing one called RV There Yet, which is like you're trying to get.
I just added that to my wish list. I'm waiting.
Actually, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at it, so my friends are always getting mad at me, but hey.
It seems like the perfect game to get mad at your friends for. So I think that's great. My buddies message me. We love to get mad at each other in games. He's like, hey, when this goes on sale, we should all get it, add it to your wish list. I'm like, all right, I added it to my wish list. It went on sale. It was only like a 20-cent sale. But then I looked at the total cost and it's like $8 or something. I'm like, wait, why are we all adding this on sale? Why don't we just buy it? It's just $8. And then I got no response. So I don't know what the holdup is, but I am very intrigued by the game. It looks like a good time.
It's the only game I've ever played where you sprint by taking a drag on a cigarette. So there's great. That.
Yeah, I have some affinity with driving vehicles up mountains that you shouldn't be driving up. I did it in Red Dead Redemption. I did it in GTA. You know, I've something about that sensation always brings out a good time. As for games I've been playing, this is hard because I do this every week. So it's like every week I got to think of another game to talk about. I've been playing this game called Superbonk lately. Very memey game. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's.
I have heard of it. Okay. Is it Megabonk or Superbonk?
Yes, Megabonk. Did I say Superbonk?
Okay. I think you said Superbonk. That's fine.
Megabonk is it's very memey, and I feel like that's sometimes hard for people to take it seriously, you know. But it is genuinely a really fun game. It's like Vampire Survivors except 3D. And I loved Vampire Survivors, so this was a good fit. It's definitely a more challenging version of that genre. Vampire Survivors, you're kind of always progressing every round. You're unlocking something new and getting stronger. This game, it's not like that. It's like you have to actually really plan out what upgrades you're picking and how you approach fighting people, always picking up gems. Just in general, a blanket more difficult than Vampire Survivors, which I like and dislike. I do like Vampire Survivors' ability to make you feel like you're always doing something. You're always pushing the envelope and getting close to that goalpost. Megabonk, I'll get stuck relentlessly and it'll drive me crazy and I won't be unlocking things and it'll bother me. But it does make it to where when I do unlock it, I get a nice shot of adrenaline. So I'll probably stick with it for a while more. A good time for sure.
I've heard only good things about it.
Yes, yeah. The meme stuff makes me feel old. I won't lie. Sometimes I'm like, is that really comedy? You know, and then of course it is. It's just I'm just apparently not chronically meme online anymore. But yeah. So that's been a fun one. It's been nice to just catch up on shows or podcasts while I am doing that in the background because it's the perfect second monitor game essentially. That's pretty much it other than the stuff I've already talked about. Are you ready to talk about some headlines?
Let's do it.
Get in some news, figure out what's been going on in the industry, rather specifically in Nintendo industry. Yeah, so starting off, we have we have a headline from Nintendo Life called Nintendo Wins Lawsuit Against Pirate Streamer Who Taunted Company Online. Now, this is a story that has basically started just about a year ago by now in 2024 when a streamer was streaming pirated Switch games specifically before they came out. And anytime Nintendo would take down a stream or take action against the platform he was on to stream it, he would essentially taunt them saying like, I can make 1 million burners, I can keep this going. I know the streets or something. That's literally something similar to what he said. He said something about like, hey, I know the streets, you can't get me or something. Oh, I run the streets. That's the exact quote. You might run a corporation, I run the streets. I think that's funny.
That's so cringe, dude.
Yeah, it is. Essentially, after the lawsuit, they finally settled the case, and it's going to result in a $17,500 payout in damages. Something that is very, 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 very small to Nintendo, very, very, very big to an individual. So that is unfortunate. This has been a long time coming, over a year. I don't know. I feel like a game that hasn't even come out yet and you're streaming it, like I feel like you should expect something like this. It sucks, but it's like, dog, what do you just wait for the games to come out and then stream it? You know what I mean?
I could get myself in trouble on this because it's actually pretty easy not to get Nintendo on your tail. There are
you have tips and tricks for those who run the streets.
Yeah, like people wanted to come to bat for what was it, Yuzu, the Switch emulator,
right?
And I'm like 10 million people played Tears of the Kingdom, without paying for it. I'm like, what do you expect is going to happen? Like, you have to have a limit. I know,
right?
Having consumer power is important, but you gotta be reasonable, about it. And I think if you're streaming the games before they've come out, you're just asking for it. I really, don't have an overwhelming amount of sympathy for you.
No. I think games should, at the very, very, very least, come out before people find alternative ways to play them. I'm not super vocally against the ethics behind pirated, but I still look at, like, if the game's not even out yet, you're quite literally putting a target on yourself, and then to taunt them is just hilarious. So kind of unfortunate. It's a smaller headline, but I did want to bring it up because it's right after another legal issue with Nintendo. Another Nintendo Life article, Nintendo's Pokemon catching related patent has been rejected in Japan. So for those who don't know, Nintendo has been in an ongoing legal dispute with Pow World, or specifically developers of Pow World, for copyright infringement, patent infringement, a bunch of stuff that I don't fully know because I'm not a lawyer. But this has been ongoing. It's gotten Nintendo a lot of flack for creating more patents as this has been going on, potentially to help its case, even though the patents came after the game was released. But this is a case we just saw where Nintendo won something legal. This is a case where Nintendo took a bit of a hit legally, which is that in the Japan court, one of the patents got rejected. Specifically, to quote Nintendo Life, this one appears to be linked to the act of throwing and aiming objects to either capture a creature or initiate a battle. So essentially the Pokeball patent specifically, which is something that Pal World uses, it is kind of comforting that got rejected. I don't like game patents. I don't think that helps us. Right. And I don't think that's an uncommon opinion. So hearing Nintendo get a little bit of pushback is great. What they'll probably do is readjust the patent, submit it again, and then again and again until they get it submitted. Nintendo loves their patents. They've done it before. They know how to do this. But at the very least, it's nice to see some courts say no to it, basically.
It's one thing to like patent your code, but whenever you just start patenting like general ideas, like Nintendo, do you know the game Eternal Darkness for the GameCube?
Yes. Yeah, and I'm aware about their patents on that as well.
Nintendo still owns the patent for that sanity system. Haven't used it once. Another great example is the Nemesis system from the Shadow of Mordor series.
Right. Right.
Haven't used that again, but no one else can do anything with that really cool system. I think it's just worse for the industry.
Definitely. Well, and I was looking at the old patents on the Ocarina of Time too, where they patented Z targeting. I don't fully know at what point that stopped becoming effective because like a lot of games started using it, or if they just abandoned the patent or what. I don't know the full story, but imagining a world where people couldn't make Z targeting in their games seems brutally just brutal for the industry in general, because it's such a one of the essential mechanics of navigating the 3D space could be.
It definitely is.
Right.
Now, one thing sometimes people will miss with these video game patents is that the patents are not necessarily protecting the actual idea, but the way the game achieves that effect. So I don't know anything about the Ocarina of Time situation, but it could be that the patent is for the underlying code that makes that system work, and not necessarily the whole idea of Z targeting.
Sure.
I don't know how it applies in that specific instance, though.
The weird thing with these patents, though, is that the patents themselves seem pretty like they're specific in their language, but the scope of the concept is usually pretty broad, right? And to illustrate, they even just do very crude images that could be applicable to a lot of different situations so that they can use it. But then the language itself is very, very like specific to make it sound more legitimate. But part of the reason in this case why the patent was rejected is the courts were citing other games that have already this mechanic in play, which it's like, obviously, but it's that this is a very simple concept of throwing something to summon it and then throwing it to initiate a battle, right? It's I'm
glad they lost that. We need some stronger case law on this. It would be like if someone wrote a book about a hero that kills a dragon, and then they put a patent on that concept. No story can have a hero that kills a dragon ever again. That's so wild to me.
Yeah, because video games is an art form. Even though it's so consumerized, it is still an art form, and putting patents within the art form is a way of limiting expression, but also limiting how the audience interacts with the art. And it just seems like a bad situation in both ways around. And I think everyone feels the same. I don't think anyone is really supporting Nintendo for these decisions here. Because at the end of the day, we want games to compete. We want new ideas to flourish, and we want things like Pal World to exist, even if it's not your cup of tea, which it's not mine. I tried.
Me neither.
It's too much for my head. Too many systems going on.
And I'll stand by. They may be getting sued for patent law. Like that may be the substance of the lawsuit, but the reason they got sued was their copyright stuff. Right. Nintendo wouldn't have been interested in them if they hadn't flown too close to the sun, if you will.
Before all this lawsuit started, when Palworld first came out, a lot of people were kind of like, "Hey, why are you blatantly ripping off Pokemon here with this copyright stuff?" A lot of people are like, "These look like actual Pokemon, just slight alterations to make them not." And at that point in time, for a sliver of time, people were actually kind of on Nintendo's side about this, just being like, look at Palworld so blatantly doing this. And then as soon as the lawsuit started, everyone's like, okay, wait, hang on a second. There's not an actual reasonable case here, but not all cases are reasonable. Some cases are just purely financially backed. I'm happy to see any resistance to this. Hopefully this isn't the only time one of their patents fails. At the very least, a lot of attention has been brought to this lawsuit, which means Nintendo's getting deservedly bad PR for it. And we can only hope for the positives to come from whenever this resolves. It could be a long time. Moving on to the next headline. This one's a little bit older now, is right after the news cycle of last podcast. This comes from the Video Games Chronicle. The headline reads, Animal Crossing New Horizons is getting a Nintendo Switch 2 edition and a huge free update. So this update is supposed to arrive in January, I believe. At least the Switch 2 edition. I don't know exactly when the free update's coming.
I think they're both coming January. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. This is an interesting one to me. I don't play much Animal Crossing. I have it and I've played it a little bit because I got it as a bundle for something. And one of the things I immediately noticed with it is like, hey, decorating is not very fun for me in this. I don't find maneuvering stuff around enjoyable. It felt like a little clunky to me. I was willing to give it some grace. I'm like, hey, Animal Crossing's got its fans. People probably just get used to it and then it probably clicks. I can get that. Cool, whatever. It is interesting that one of the only things that the Switch 2 edition is adding, which there's like, I think they list 4 things here that the Switch 2 edition is adding, but one of the things is Joy-Con 2 mouse controls, which can be used for redecorating the home. I think that's really neat. I think I might try it out of curiosity. Well, I'm probably not going to buy it, but if I ever get to try it, I'll try it out of curiosity to see if the mouse modes actually is intuitive with the decorated, because that was like the one thing I was like, this feels so bad. But I don't know. The other stuff they've added, not much. They've added cameras so that you can look at other people's avatars when you're playing multiplayer. A microphone where you can basically talk to other people. Like they've introduced their game chat stuff into it, and I honestly think that's about. Oh, and they've extended their support to 12 players, up to 12 players. Cool, that's neat. None of this screams substantial to me. I don't know. What do you have any thoughts on these inclusions?
I'm just happy to see them not charging $20 for this.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
not even $10.
Yeah, just a flat $5.
Yeah.
Kind of, I guess it's just the way the industry is now that you have to pay for the console upgrade. I think Sony's been doing that for a while. But, I'm not going to complain about this instance because of the big free update that they're doing.
Right.
On top of that, it's easy to like get your hopes up that this represents a little bit of a change in direction for Nintendo.
Right. But we'll take that hope. We'll grab a sliver of that. I'd like to imagine potentially the choice to make this $5 instead of $10 could have been through some of the reception of their previous money habits. It could be not that. I still don't think this is a substantial amount for $5 is the thing. But
I agree.
Like you said, the counteract is that, well, now a bunch of people also get content for free. So it's a balancing thing. It's cool that Animal Crossing is getting supported this late into its life. And I don't want to devalue the fact that they're still getting some new stuff. As for the new stuff coming in the update, I should probably mention, the article reads, a new hotel on the pier run by the captain's family. They bring in guests from off the islands. Players can decorate guest rooms based on various themes to make sure the guests enjoy the stay. To paraphrase, the ability for players to upgrade their home storage 2 more times. I don't know what that means. A new dream location called Slumber Island will also be added, allowing players to create and decorate up to 3 of their own islands and invite players to them. I don't really know what that means either. New collaborations will also be added to the game featuring items based on Lego. That's pretty cool. I love Lego.
That is kind of wild.
Yeah, that makes my dog ears go up. I'm like, oh, Lego. That's cool. The Legend of Zelda and Splatoon is also items featured from them. Playable retro games playable retro consoles which require a Nintendo Switch Online subscription. I didn't know that one. That's interesting.
That's wacky. That
is wacky. The Animal Crossing previously has had retro games you could play inside the games, right?
Yeah, they did.
To require, this is hurting my head. So it requires an online subscription, but at that point, why not just play them on the online subscription? Oh, that's so confusing to me. That makes my brain hurt.
Well, see, I think it's really cool that they're adding all of this to the game. And I have played a ton of Animal Crossing in my life.
Sure.
New Horizon is not my favorite Animal Crossing.
I hear that frequently, right?
And one of the issues for me is because there just is so much to do. I really like kind of the simpler Animal Crossings of old. And so this huge amount of content that's for free, I'm sure it's great for a ton of people, and I'm sure my opinion is in the minority, but it kind of makes me tired to think about.
It makes you tired. Yeah, no, that's fair. I think if there's one thing Animal Crossing does to me, it makes me tired. Mostly because I'm just bored the whole time. But hey, I understand it's just not my genre.
Mm-hmm.
This is a hilarious image. I'm just gonna share it between us. This is one of the press pictures they added. It looks almost identical to the Switch or the Switch Online retro system.
It does.
I guess just the difference is that your character can walk up and play it. Now, are you going to be able to play all the retro games, or is it like just select few that you still have to pay online for anyway? I really don't understand this concept.
So I'm assuming these are like furniture items that you put in your house. Like, you could play like NES Golf in the old Animal Crossing.
Right.
I don't understand why they would put that behind the Switch 2. I guess so that you don't use it as like a workaround to play these classic games when they're having this service on the side.
But like, it's just Ice Climbers. It's not like we're not
really
playing
fiending
Super
for that
Metroid out here, right? Yeah, it's so bizarre. It's like they don't want to even dabble in the idea of competing with their own sales. Even though
I gotta get my Ice Climbers fix. I'm gonna sneak into Animal Crossing.
That's so weird. Well, I guess we'll see what other games they end up adding. I just that was just I didn't know about that until right now, and that's baffling my brain right now. Because I don't know who they're trying to make sales off of, because it's most people who have the appeal I can see in this retro game thing is the multiplayer aspect where people can come to your house and play the arcade games on your island. I get that. If you have that access, you have online anyway. So
yeah, that's true.
who are you trying to make money off of in this situation? I don't fully understand. Whatever. Animal Crossing kids, have fun. I'll let you guys do your thing.
There you go. I think overall it's a pretty positive development.
It did, yeah. It does sound like an update with substance, which is funny because the Switch 2 edition doesn't sound like it. But I guess this way people get more free stuff. They could have locked more behind the paid upgrade,
Absolutely.
and they didn't. And that's ultimately a good thing. Moving on to the next headline. This one is also from Nintendo Life. The headline reads, Pokemon TCG Pocket pulled in almost $1.3 billion in its first year alone. That is a massive, massive number. To read a little bit more into where they get this estimate. According to new estimates from App Magic, which accounts for in-app spending from Google Play and the App Store, TCG Pocket pulled in almost $1.3 billion in its first year alone, making it the highest grossing debut for a Pokemon mobile app to date, which sounds like a big deal. There hasn't been a ton of Pokemon apps, but there has been some. They noted that Pokemon Go's first year player spending estimates to tend to sit around the big 1 billion mark. They're saying 1 billion, but they're just being a silly Billy. So even surpassing Pokemon Go, which is crazy because in 2016, when Pokemon Go came out, massive.
Yeah, that
everyone
was like
on the streets was playing it.
Cultural phenomenon.
Right. And I definitely felt a taste of that when Pocket came out, but it wasn't nearly to the same extent. And I think a big thing here is that Pocket probably has a much better handle on its microtransactions than Pokemon Go did at its first release.
Well, it's a gacha game, which are don't just take a glance at what Tencent pulls in off of their gacha games. It's sickening.
Yeah. Yep. I played Pocket for a little bit. I really didn't like what I was seeing.
I did too, and I didn't like it. Yeah, I'm with you on it.
So growing up with Pokemon cards, loved them. I actually played them, in decks. I know like the cool kids these days don't even know what the deck building is. They just like the collecting. Fair enough. It sounds like I'm being, I'm like these darn kids. I really don't care. That's great. You can collect them. But I would play the game a lot. And then, when you buy booster packs, you might not know what cards you're going to get, but you actually get them, right? They're in your collection. You're in your decks. And when you move on from Pokemon cards, you can sell them to the next person or give it to your offspring. And which case I actually did give all of my Pokemon cards to a friend, right? Just a couple years before the boom of price rising for Pokemon cards. So that's great. Boy. But to be fair, they were used. Used cards don't sell as well as untouched ones. So I probably wouldn't have gotten much from them anyway. But I did have a lot. Just the record show, I had a lot of old ones too. Anyways, it's okay. I'm not salty. But what I would always point to I would always point to Pokemon cards when I would talk about like loot boxes or other microtransactions in games, because I'd always be like, well, at least with something like Pokemon cards, when you buy the cards, you get them, you get to keep them. It's something physical and tangible and not bound by online servers. To see Pokemon cards transform into an app form, which is, by the way, much more minimal than their previous online Pokemon card game, which was the Pokemon Trading Card Game Online, where you would buy cards and you could actually get those cards digitally as well. They tanked that. They have some alternative now. I'm not going to get into the differences here, but it's just crazy to see Pokemon go so far into this gacha realm. Yeah. When I used to like champion their use of IRL loot boxes in a way, their mystery packs. And when I saw just all the gacha stuff with trading card game, to the point where you couldn't actually trade at launch, meaning you literally have no ownership of the things you have because you cannot pass it on to another person. That drove me insane. I felt grossed out, and then I didn't. Yeah. I heard they've added trading sense, but at the time,
you're saying pretty much exactly what I felt about it. Was like, if I'm gonna be collecting Pokemon cards in any form, I want to have real Pokemon cards.
Right. For sure.
I'm not interested in it. And if I'm gonna play a gacha game, it won't be this one.
Yeah, definitely. And the you know, it's charming that you can have deck battles on your phone, but they do it in such a light mode. Like everything is cut in half, and that's not how I like to use Pokemon cards. I like the full deck battles back in the day that used to last like an hour because cards didn't have power creep, so the prize cards weren't taken as quickly. And nowadays it's all so different from what I remember. But I don't know. I was just very disappointed when this app came out. It's also a little disappointing to hear just how much they're prying off these people with their gacha mechanics, their artificial scarcity of items and things that, if I don't know, it just none of it gels well with me.
Mm-hmm. Well, clearly it worked.
It clearly worked really well. The most surprising thing, because you could talk about the billions and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, that's just a number. But the surprising thing is hearing that it had a higher debut than the Pokemon Go app, which I know for a fact was like hotcakes. It was literally everywhere in everyone's hands.
We had a presidential candidate say something about it.
Right. It was a big deal. And
the thing about Pokemon Go is that you can pretty much experience everything without putting money in.
Yes.
And that's not the case with Pokemon TCG. It's clearly designed to get you to spend money.
Nintendo's had this weird trend of releasing their mobile apps like very, very bare bones and then just drip feeding stuff into it for periods of time after. Even Pokemon Go, which got criticized for how light it was when it came out, there was still like very much a game there. Like the most of the needed functions were there. It was just a couple that it was missing. The launch of Trading Card Game, I didn't feel similarly. I felt it was much more bare bones because everything was locked behind stuff you can't see, which was just random shuffles and or random drawings and however they manage it. Felt the same way about Pokemon Bloom too. Pokemon Bloom, when it launched, had nothing to do on it, but I don't know how I got in that tangent. Either way, I guess good for Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket fans. Just be mindful of your personal finance. Personal finance is extraordinarily important, and when you have something in your pocket every day asking you for money in a way, you just got to monitor it. You got to be mindful of your budget. Look at how much you're spending. Don't ignore it. Actually look at how much you're spending. Anyways, that's all I have to say about this. Is there anything else you want to add, or?
No.
Okay.
I can't believe it made that much money, though.
I can't believe it. That's a big number. The next one is a small one. This is actually a tweet from the account My Time to Shine Hello. I don't know who it is, but this tweet has been quoted in many headlines now. So it might be a good source. I don't know. It just says, "Scoop. The Mario Galaxy trailer will be attached to Wicked for Good, meaning it will release online before November 21st. I don't even know what attached means.
I guess that means it will be playing in movie theaters with Wicked.
I see.
For Good.
Okay. That makes sense. The Super Mario Galaxy movie announced earlier this year in a Nintendo Direct for Mario's 40th anniversary. I haven't talked much about it on this podcast. What I will say is I think I didn't is I don't I don't care much about the Mario Galaxy previous movie. This one doesn't interest me much either, but I do think it's cool that it's going to be set in the world of Galaxy because I do think that's the most cinematic part that cinematic area that Mario's been in ever. So that's kind of
for sure.
And we might get a trailer showcasing it. I don't have anything else to add to this because I just it's not even really news. It's just
so you're saying that you weren't like the biggest fan of the first Mario movie. And so you're not super interested in this next one. No. Oh, I see. I kind of love the Mario movie. It's not any more than it was. I know it's just kind of Illumination slop, but all that movie had to be was decent for me to love it.
I think the movie, I think both movies are going to do really good at this. And I think the first one did really good at it. It pays a heck of a lot of respect to its property, its fans. It has a lot of moments of I remember that, and I think if there's a lot of video game movies that don't go that route and they make it completely detached from its source media, and to be fair, most video game movies don't work out. So if a video game movie is not going to click with me, I'd at least prefer it to not click while also being like, is that really Chunky Kong in this movie? You know, stuff like that. I like pointing at the screen, being like, I know that sound, I know that sound, you know, that's all great. And if the movie's not going to be my forte anyway, I'd rather have that stuff than not. And most video game movies don't have that.
If nothing else, the Mario movie put the Chunky is dead rumors to bed. Like I'm glad that
worried sick.
I'm so glad Chunky is alive.
Yeah. We'll just see if they have any actual heart in this next movie. We'll see. Galaxy is a great setting, I think, though, to do it. Some people were criticizing it for going all the way to Galaxy instead of like doing games in order or anything like that. Yeah. In my head, I'm like, but Mario's not really in order right now. Like, no. There's no Mario timeline. It's all Mario anyway. So I think it's perfectly fine to do Galaxy, but
yeah, I do too. Who do you think will voice Rosalina?
I haven't given it even a smidgen of a pondering.
I haven't either. I asked that question without an answer of my own.
Who's the person in Princess Bride who's with she's like with the witch and the two she's the witch, basically. Who's the witch in The Princess Bride?
The witch in The Princess Bride?
The wife of the magic man, the miracle man reviving the guy from death. She's like what's that actress? I don't remember her name.
That's an
I want her to play
cut.
Rosalina. I want to see her on the big screen. I want her to be like, Mario! What? Stop playing with the stars. You need to go collect some. You know, I want to see that performance, basically.
I was going to say something like Scarlett Johansson or
that also works.
Florence Pugh.
Both equally work, I think, yeah.
Just judging on their star-studded cast direction they took with the first one.
Which is another thing. I don't like star-studded a lot of times in live action movies, but attaching it to something I already know the voices of feels so weird to me to attach stars. If anything, I'd rather it be people I don't recognize, which, to be fair, apparently with the Zelda movie they're working on, it is less recognizable.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. But unfortunately, that one probably won't be any good either. Anyways, that's probably, I think that's all of the headlines that I have. So that brings us to the last question I want to ask you. Ivan, what games are you looking forward to? What is tickling your fancy? What do you plan to put on your system in your homes? What are you looking forward to?
Well, obviously Metroid Prime 4. I almost forget that's coming out like within a month. That's insane.
There's a lot of the Metroid subreddit can tell you why, but they're very, very critical of the marketing right now.
Oh boy. Yeah. So there's a James Bond game coming out next year that I'm really happy about because I'm a huge fan of the Hitman games, and IOI is making this James Bond. I'm super excited about that. But the game I'm most excited for, and have been for a while now, is Tamagotchi Life 2. I'm unbelievably hyped for that.
Yeah.
I can't believe they're making it.
He was talking about that too. He was he was getting upset with me by how little I know about the game because I don't know much about it.
He'll do that.
Yeah. But you are the third guest to bring up that game as something they're excited for, which tells me that it's not going to be as overlooked as people might think it might be.
Yeah, I still can't believe it. Way back earlier this year, I did a wish list for the Switch 2. And I actually stole that from Mr. Dean. I messaged him and I was like, hey, I saw your wish list. You said Tamagotchi Life 2. I'm going to steal that. Nice. And like the day I released that video, they announced it. It was insane.
Oh, that's great. And you get to take the credit instead of Mr. Dean, which is also great. I'm all for that.
Sadly, Dean, I did credit him in the video.
Oh, that's a shame. Just random shots towards Dean is fun. Anything else you wanted to mention?
Not as far as that goes. Nope. What are you excited for?
Yeah, well, every week I got to come up with something. I like that you brought up 007. I am also moderately excited for that. It's been a hot minute since I've really sunk my teeth into a 007 game, and I think it's been a hot minute since there's been a 007 game in general.
I've never played a 007 game. I'm hyped for this based completely on the people who are making it.
Okay, well, yeah, because I played GoldenEye, obviously, as we mentioned earlier. I also played the GoldenEye remake on the Wii, which most people would say isn't very good. I would argue that they're correct; it's not very good. But look, there was very limited options for first-person shooters on the Wii. We did what we could sometimes, and you could have some fun in it. I also played the later remake of that remake on the Xbox 360. Also not very good. So, but still, okay. So I have a little bit of connection with 007. I also played The World's Not Enough and one other on the GameCube, Nightfire. But rest assured, I have not played it in quite a while, and I would love to hop into this one. I might rent it. I've been renting my Switch 2 games, so I'd love to at least pick it up and experience it, if not keep it forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the stuff I'm excited about, because everything else I already talked about. Metroid Prime. We're getting close. By the way, to anyone who is listening to this on the day it comes out, I believe it is either this weekend or next weekend where Kirby Air Ride is having its free test drives, essentially, where you can download the game and play it before it comes out for 2 weekends in a row, which is really cool. So keep your eyes on that. You're going to need a better podcast host than me, though, to find out what the dates for that are.
I'm trying so hard not to care about that game because I'm really not that interested into racing games or Kirby. But goddamn if Sakurai isn't selling me hard on that.
I'm glad to hear it. I loved Kirby Air Ride growing up, so this is huge for me. And the fact that some people are like tipping their toes into the excitement just because they can't get excited about Smash Brothers, I'll take it. Like I will take that small.
It does have that energy. Yeah,
it does. And when you look at the footage, you can tell it's a Sakurai game. You see certain flashes and UI, and you're like, yeah, that's a Sakurai touch right there. I'm relentlessly excited for it. And you guys can experience it too pretty soon here, but look up the dates yourself because I'm not going to look it up for you. That's going to do it for the Pat Nat Cast. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you are watching us on YouTube, just a reminder that you can also listen to this on any of your favorite podcasting platforms. Link to that in the description. And if you are listening on those, I applaud you and I thank you. And I thank you, Ivan, for joining me today. Where can people find you if they want to get to know more about your Banjo-Kazooie rankings and various retrospectives?
I'm just on YouTube. This is where I'm at. Ivanavi is the name of my channel. You can look it up. Got all my videos on there. I have a Discord. It's in the link of my channel. But there you go. I do have a very quick bone to pick with you, though.
Okay. I love picking bones.
I've been watching your bracket breakdown series.
Love to hear it.
Where in the hell is Skyward Sword?
It is funny that you, of all people, would bring up the absence of Skyward Sword. It in Bracket Breakdown, we curate it so that it's not all sequels and direct comparables with each other. Mm-hmm. And as such, some sequels that were underperforming were omitted from the bracket just because we didn't want to compare Skyward Sword to Twilight Princess, right? Skyward Sword barely got enough votes to make the bracket. but then we curated it out so that we can make room for more important things, like
that
apparently
game-
Mario Party 8.
Oh my god. That game just will never get the respect it deserves. SMH my head.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
I've also been really amused to hear y'all get into the weeds about what makes a good Wii game versus a good game. It's
that's like point of contention. Yeah.
It's like saying, well, obviously Ocarina of Time is the better game, but Wave Race 64 has 64 in the title.
Right. No, I trust me. That's it's a big point of contention, and you know what? I think it's the kind of thing where you want both pieces of those conversations in a bracket, because you do need someone championing the console's identity within the games, even if I'm not the one personally to do that. But I appreciate you watch it, and so those listening, you should check out Back to Breakdown. It's
so much fun. It's so much fun.
Ivan approves. Yeah, it's literally the best show on the internet, so you guys should check it out for sure. It's on Pat Nat Games YouTube channel, where you can find me, and of course you can find Ivan by clicking the link in the description. Thank you guys. Take care, and so long, fellas.
Mm-hmm.